Shai's been rolling in these NBA Finals debut. He now has 72 points through the first 2 games of the Finals, the most by any player in his first 2 Finals games. All right, S.A., here's what I want to know from you. How did the Pacers slow down SGA?
Well, you can't. You can't, because the marvelous part about his skill set is that he creates space. He dictates space. And he never, ever seems rushed. And then when you try to get up on him, he'll dance on you. The brother's 6'6" with a handle, okay? He's got a mid-range game. He pulls up. He fades away. It's not really like you can block his shot under most circumstances. He can finish in the open court. He can finish at the basket. He can hit the three occasionally, even though that's not his strongest suit. And the mid-range game is just pure. That's why they call him Shea Butter. The brother's doing this thing. After a loss, averaging 33.6 on 54% shooting this year. This is what he does in those 5 playoff games. The brother is special. But then I got to give credit where credit is due, because I saw, and there was a stat that I threw out at NBA Countdown yesterday, fellas. The Thunder in Game 1 passed the ball 207 times. Wow. That was a season low for anybody, especially for them. Wow. They don't do that. They passed the ball 207 times. They had 13 assists for the game. Yesterday, they had 14 assists in the first half. So Shea came out like, I'm going to get mine, but I need you to get yours, Jay. I need you to get yours, Wallace. I need this cat Wiggins coming off the bench. Oh, definitely get yours. Caruso, I love how you're defending Pascal Siakam, holding him to 3-for-11 shooter, but I need you to get yours too. So he had 20. They combined for 9 threes. And I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and the answer to this question is 0. When Rick Carlisle, who is a championship coach, who has coached some exceptional players in his day, sits up there and says, 34, well, he's going to get that. Yeah. There's nothing we can do about that. When a championship coach looks in the camera and tells America and the world, there's nothing we can do about that. You know what? There's nothing you can do about it. And that's the situation. Right. The answer to your question, Molly, is nothing.
Is there something they can do about it?
No, it's not. You said it perfectly. The something is the others. You can limit Caruso under 20. You can limit a guy like Aaron Wiggins, who had 10 points in the last 5 games, to not have 20 points and make 5 threes in a game. That's where you win the game. When you on Shea Island, you might as well get comfortable, especially when you go on one-on-one, play after play. There is no way you can stop the MVP. He's averaging 34 reasons. He's unstoppable for a reason. Exactly. And I would say, listen, Jalen Brunson just did the same thing. Yeah. Like, they couldn't stop Jalen Brunson, but again, it goes back to the others. If you have Shea dancing in that mid-range, like, let's just be clear, his poise, his movements, like, he's created. He's brought back the mid-range game. They can't guard him. And your head coach is telling you, we can't guard him. It's about guarding the other players. Jalen Brunson went berserk in that series. Obviously, you're going to see Shea do the same thing. It would be interesting to see if Carlisle mix in maybe a couple traps, just like a little bit differently. But from what he's saying is, we're not too much worried about Shea scoring. Like, we're going to allow him to score. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that, because what he's doing right now, he's so efficient. Like, he's getting everybody else in the game. He's picking his spots. Like, that's a dangerous cat to be having in the finals.
So it's like that's the inevitable, and then you're trying to stop the other guys, essentially?
Sometimes it's like that. But the other thing about it is this. You got to give Oklahoma City's defense credit, because it's sort of rattled, Indiana in a certain respect. Like, the mistakes that you make must be limited, because anything that you do, they have the potential to exploit. And Shea don't mind giving it up, but at any given moment, he just clears out. Exactly. Like, what are you going to do about this? I'm going to go left. I'm going to go right. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to go to the basket. And remember, even though it was not accurate what they were saying, like he was getting an excessive amount of fouls called in his favor, what they really meant to say is, when he wants to get to the free throw line, he can. Anytime he wants to. He knows he's a perfectionist at drawing fouls. And his level of efficiency in this series ups what Jalen Brunson was giving you. He was giving you the same level of point production, but he wasn't as efficient. And Jalen Brunson's undersized, so he ain't playing above the rim. Shea, when he wants to, can play above the rim. And because of that, you just look at it and you thank the good Lord that he doesn't have a bona fide, big-time, consistent three-pointer, because it just wouldn't be fair to basketball. It wouldn't be fair to basketball players if this brother had a consistent three that he could pull up, where you had to come out further to guard him, giving him more space to operate. Good Lord. If that happens, it's a wrap.
And to piggyback off that, his mindset.
Yeah.
Like, as a young player, seeing that and how he approached the game and, like, said, okay, I'm going to be more efficient today, but I have to get my other guys going.
Yeah.
But it's not going to take away from my own offense. As a player and, like, if I was on this team, I would recognize that right away. Like, this is a guy I want to be on the team with. He understands that other guys need to go. I'm going to get mine. Right. You can put it in the books. I'm going to get mine, but I need my guys to go early so they can establish that pace. Is like I said in the previous game, is if those guys don't go, if Chet doesn't show up, it hurts the team big time. If he doesn't have a rhythm, it hurts the team big time. And then you have guys come up the bench. And I can say I don't even think OKC played that well. Like, I don't even think they played that well. I thought they had big performances from other guys.
Okay, final word, then I'm going to push it forward here.
If OKC can continue to get their team involved, they had 5 players above 15 points last game. They're going to be super hard to stop at that. The Shea first game, he took 30 shots. This last game, he took 21. Those 9 shots went to other players, and it helped the team gain the rhythm. It helped everybody be confident about shooting the ball. That little bit.
That's a good point.
Just that little bit of taking a couple less shots and getting other guys involved brings out confidence.
I'm going to tell you
play some sound for you.
I'm going to tell you one of the things that I noticed, too. And we knew this, but it's more flagrant now. They shot 35% in the first half, Indiana. When you handcuff them offensively in any way, it demoralizes them. They're unlike OKC. They might have some tight moments. They're struggling offensively, but they hang their hats on their defense. Indiana doesn't. So if you disrupt them in any way, that's why it was such a surprise that they came back and won game 1. If you disrupt them offensively, something's missing everywhere else.
Exactly.
And that's what happened
Then
to
all
them
of a
last
sudden
night.
it feels like everyone's a little rattled.
There's many different ways that you can choose to digest, what's in front of you. But yeah, I think we focus on taking it a day at a time. So you got the split, you feel good about that. But we definitely wanted to play better tonight. I think our processes need to be a lot better for us to be successful here. So it's still a race in the first of 4. So we're going to our home court. Tied 1-1, and we love playing at home, love playing in front of our fans. Our fans are amazing. So just see where we can get better, and just take it a day at a time.
I say, before I tee you up on this question, just one quick question. When he says our processes, what is he referring to?
I don't know.
I've never heard a player say that. I was just curious, what does that mean in player speak?
I just feel like it's like taking in what just happened, like taking in where they're effective at. And, after every game, as a player, if I'm in the playoffs, I'm going to dissect and see where I was, right?
Yeah.
And like what the other players can do to help him score the ball, because I think that's what he's really referring to.
Like the inventory of what
exactly,
just went
of
down.
what he put to the game, right? Like what he might see from other players that gets him more involved in the game.
Now that
Because
he's
obviously
more
we all see that.
I got a lot of love for my man Marcus. But I got to tell you something, man. I never looked forward to seeing him more than I look forward to seeing him this morning. Because when I saw Haliburton last night go first 3 quarters with 5 points, be a complete no-show offensively, I was like, is Markieff Morris on the floor? I Peter say, is Markieff Morris on the show tomorrow morning? Is that brother on the show tomorrow morning? Because I'm looking for him.
Do not bring up that trigger word, because I do not want to hear it.
I'm not
You know what it is.
We don't need to bring up the
Don't bring
superstar
up-
trigger
I don't
word.
wanna hear
We don't need to bring
superstar.
it up because we know better now. We know better now. The point is, listen, he was a bit gimpy, in fairness to Haliburton. He was a bit gimpy because I was walking right behind him after he departed from the press conference last night. He was walking real gimpy last night. He seemed a bit banged up. You looked at OKC and their physicality. Yeah, they started Wallace again, okay? And you let Hartenstein come off the bench. But Hartenstein and Holmgren didn't play any minutes together in game 1. Last night, they played a lot of minutes in game 2. And when you look at that and Caruso and the way Wallace defends and the way Dort defends, they were getting up in cats. And Oklahoma said, we're going to get back to playing bully ball. I don't understand for the life of me. I like Wallace. I really like him a lot. And I'm not saying that he was wrong to be in the start lineup. I'm just saying, why would you change if you won 80 games this year? Why would you even change up when you see bully ball and how effectively that has worked for you? What would make you think it wouldn't work against Indiana? It still makes no sense to me.
So, Stephen A., right now, are you more confident in OKC or Indy moving forward?
OKC. No, without question, because I'm seeing the physicality. Now, if the officials get in the way, Molly, and all of a sudden they start calling it tight, these brothers know what I'm talking about. They start calling it tight, and all of a sudden you can't get away with anything.
Yeah.
then that and be clear. That happens.
Yeah,
As
all the
a
time.
series wanes, how a game is called in game 2 is different than how a game is called 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that kind of stuff. So you never know. But the point is, if it's called the way that it was called last night, Indiana's not going to stand much of a chance because they allowed that physicality to take place. And OKC is clearly the more physical team. Between Dort and Caruso alone, they're the more physical team. We even bring in Holmgren and Hartenstein.
Okay, so since he was eyeing you, which team are you more confident now moving forward?
To be honest, and I said this earlier, I still didn't think OKC played their best brand of basketball, which can go either way,
Yeah,
right?
which, does that mean it's even scarier because they haven't?
I'm not really sure because, like, Aaron Wiggins and Caruso never scores 20 points. Aaron Wiggins didn't even shoot the ball half the time in the playoffs. He barely played over 10 minutes. He never scored over 5.
But they keep leaving Caruso open for those corner threes,
but
which he can hit.
I still believe that, you know, when I look at Rick Carlisle and we understand in the hoop and we understand in basketball, what was really the chances that Indiana wins that game? They haven't lost 2 games in a row since May 9th of 2024.
Yeah.
That's 389 days since they lost 2 games straight.
Someone did their homework.
So really, were we really expecting them to win that game? And they had to have really unprecedented performance from 2 players that doesn't score the ball. These are defensive players. These are shooting open threes. Wiggins got in his bag. He was shooting step-back threes. This is a player we haven't seen do anything. So to me, I didn't think that OKC played really well. I just thought that Rick Carlisle was throwing in a couple different looks that he probably wouldn't do, or just seeing if things work. Because if I was a coach, I thought that was smart. If I'm not going into this game thinking I'm going to lose, but if I do have a chance to try new things and new tactics and see if this work, this line will work, I'm gonna do that. And that's what he was doing. So I believe that still Pacers might still have that chance. Like, to me, I still have Pacers winning this series. And I'm
okay, the way you just said that was so weak. Like, the Pacers might still have
yeah, you're right. I'm going to take it back. I'm thinking that Haliburton is struggling because my man is going on TV every day, and he's telling him that he's not a superstar.
We'll get to Hallie in a second. We're going to lock in. Let Keith answer the question here.
Right. But I got love for Haliburton. Here's where I'm at, fellas. I'm going to look to see how effective Indiana's offense is, because I remember it's like one of my funniest when Shaq and the Fool does, you know, he's trolling cats. One of my funniest, the all-time funniest one, guys, and y'all will remember this, was when Otto Porter was standing on the wing, and the cat went all the way around, and he was just standing there, and he forgot it. It was hilarious. You know, I bring that up because a couple of times last night, it wasn't quite that flagrant, but Caruso was on the left side of the court. And then the next thing you know, the ball is moving, and the defenders completely lose him, and he's on the opposite side of the right corner, and they swung the ball to him, and he had a wide open 3. 2 of his 4 threes or so was from that right corner. And so I'm saying, okay, that can't happen. But with an Indiana, sometimes those defensive lapses do happen because that's not what they hang their hat on. But when you're effective offensively for them, they get more engaged defensively. So to me, in Indiana for Game 3 Wednesday night, I'm going to be looking your home turf, familiar rims, you're back home, the crowd, the adrenaline, you're going to be hyped, you're going to be ready to go.
Coming off a
and
loss.
Are you going to be effective offensively? If OKC's defense shows up, they're in a world of trouble. They can't show up like that.
Well, we know Hallie needs to show up, so we can lock in on your boy now. So despite his heroics in Game 1, Haliburton struggled Game 2 as he shot 2 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from beyond the arc through the first 3 quarters in Indiana's loss last night. So I'll start with you, Marcus, because you know he's coming at you.
Yeah.
How do you view Hallie after the Game 2 loss?
I just think he needs to be more aggressive from start of the game, but that's not necessarily saying scoring. Like, Haliburton is not a scoring point guard. He's a guy that gets everybody involved. He's the leader of the team. He plays fast. He gets his ISOs. He gets in the paint. He makes players better. I think it's his aggressiveness. What I can say is I didn't like seeing him get a backcourt violation when a guy was guarding him. That kind of showed that they were getting to him. I didn't like his energy as he was going into this game, but it's one game. The thing I like about Haliburton is that he can recognize where he needs to be better at. I think Rick Carlisle would do a really good job of telling him, listen, we need you to be better. 20 points, what was the stat? If he scores 20 points, they're 7-1 in the playoffs. He has to recognize that. Like, it's no way that he can take 7 to 8 shots. He can't go into the fourth quarter with 5 points. He has to recognize that, and being a superstar and being a good player, this is an intricate part of the series where he recognized I have to be aggressive. If I'm missing or making shots, it's my aura of the game, it's my pace of the game, it's what I'm bringing to the game. He has to show that in Game 3.
Stephen A., how do you view him?
That's a really nice soliloquy you just gave there, Marcus. I got to give it to you, man. You sounded so. Didn't your brother sound? He said so eloquent.
7-1 when he scores
you would
20.
never have thought. You would never have thought that this was the brother out here arguing about the superstar status a week ago. It's real slick. I got to give it to you. I got to give it to you. It's a beautiful soliloquy, right? But it ain't working this morning. Here's the deal. Haliburton, if we really being honest about it, Molly, cats like these brothers right here who always has an appreciation for their contemporaries and what they bring to the table, it's kind of offensive that you had cats in the league saying he was overrated.
Yeah.
They went too far. Haliburton didn't deserve that. He's a cat that I wanted drafted by the New York Knicks. The brother can play. You know, I know his father made news. Thank goodness all of that is behind him. His father's back in the game. He belongs back in the game. You know what I'm saying?
There's just a couple players who really voted on that also.
But it's more than a couple. But the point is, none of them should have done that because he didn't deserve that. Okay, so there was some jealousy. Maybe he's on the Olympic team. What was he doing on Team USA? And everybody giving him shine that they thought he didn't deserve. He's not a scrub. And when you are in a postseason, and on 5 occasions you're 5 for 5 with a shot, with a game on the line, with 15 seconds or less left, with a chance to tie or take the lead in regulation or overtime. And this brother's 5 for 5 when the rest of the league is 4-26 at the time throughout this postseason. You got to give that cat some love. So he deserves that. Ain't nobody throwing any shade on Haliburton in that regard. What we're saying is superstar status is reserved for the few. When we talk about LeBron James, there is no question. Yeah. That is a superstar. When we talk about Steph Curry, there is no question. When we talk about KD, Giannis, Jokic, there is no question you're talking about superstar status. So when you mention somebody on that level, it got to be bona fide. Yeah. It can't be a question mark or whatever. Now, Haliburton has that potential. But in the end, last night was emblematic of the criticism that he's received because in losses and in games they've struggled, that's what he's looked like. Where you at? Where's the jump shot? Where's getting to the hole? Where's the pull-up jump shot? Where's finishing up at the basket? Where's pushing the ball in the open court? Where's being in attack mode? Where's that level of aggression? Where's the choke sign? Where are you going at the New York Knicks or somebody? Where are you going in hostile confines and like, yeah, I'm here. It's my show. I'm taking it from y'all. Where's that dude? Right. And when you don't do that, then they're saying, all right, it happens. With him, it happens too often. See, the superstars, it's rare. It happens, but it's rare. And we know what they're going to respond. Steph Curry go to a game during the regular season. He shoots 0 for 10 from the field. I think it was against Memphis. You knew the next time Memphis saw him, it was going to be a problem. Right. The brother dropped 50. You just know that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's what you're looking for from a superstar. We ain't looking for that from Haliburton because that's not his game. And so because of that, okay, but this is the only point that I want to make. Shea Butter. That is the opposing point guard. Like you about 6'5" or so. He about 6'6". That man playing your position, and he's busting y'all living, you know what? Not you, because you ain't guarding them like that, but y'all. Shea giving you 36 a night on better than 50% shooting. After capturing league MVP honors. Showing up on the stage for the first time just like you, with everybody watching him and saying, yeah, this is why I got the MVP trophy. I know who I am. When the guy is playing your position and putting on that kind of show, I need more than 5 damn points from you for the first 3 quarters, and I ain't counting the 12 that you gave me in garbage time after you down 23. Hell no. You got to do more than that.
I agree.
That's all we're saying.